What's up, guys? Welcome out to another beautiful day in paradise where we're hauling manure. So yeah, I'm gonna be hauling manure today, and Josh is gonna be, we swapped. So he was hauling yesterday, I'm hauling today, and he's gonna be cleaning up one truck that we can get ready to change some stuff on the bed and switch the bed over. But this is the truck I'm gonna be driving, and I got greasing and oiling my stuff, greasing my bearings, oiling my chains, and I noticed this was gone. So that had no nuts on it. I was surprised this big sprocket in there stayed on. So I put some new nuts on that one. And then over here on the other side, I was getting ready to oil my chains and noticed my chain tightener's gone. It's supposed to have one of these on it. There's no chain here because we got rid of the bottom beater that went across. But my chain tightener's gone, so this chain is just nice and floppy. We don't like floppy chains, so I have to try and straighten it out. Oh, I'll show you the problem, why it's gone. If you look at that bracket, see how bent and mangled that is? Well, when these beaters kick on, they kick on at full speed, and I don't know why, I wish they didn't, but they kick on at full speed, and when that chain hits, it just bent it hit that roller, just pushed on it, bent the roller enough, it got sloppy and fell out. So I'm going to straighten that back out with the torch, put a new roller in. I'll probably move that roller that was down on the bottom that wasn't being used, move that one up to the top, and then hopefully I can get out hauling manure today. All right, we got it all going, ready to go. So I'm just out here pulling into the dairy. We're gonna go get loaded and haul some manure. But I'm curious to see how the manure is looking from yesterday, because yesterday it was pretty sloppy out here. But supposedly they hauled a bunch more solid in and mixed it up. So we're not hauling out of the back like we were yesterday. We are now hauling out of the upper areas. So from the looks of it, it looks pretty solid. Hopefully we can get this all out of here, because if we can get these upper areas cleaned out, they can usually hold for quite a while. But it does look pretty solid. It's definitely getting some solid loads. This side looks pretty good. The other side over there, or that way, still looks a little sloppy, but we aren't over there yet. It looks like they've worked up to this end. This end, they've definitely hauled some on that end over there. So I'm gonna get backed up to Trevor, get loaded up, and go haul some poopy. Now, manure is probably one of the best things that you can put on your ground. So it's not only fertilizer, like it works great as fertilizer. And actually on our wheat fields that we have, when we put manure on them, we don't have to spread any commercial fertilizer. So it's a pretty good deal to put this on. We do pay the dairy for it. But yeah, it's really good stuff. It not only does it give you fertilizer for that year, they've found the manure actually gives you benefits for up to 10 years after you put it on. If you put it on one time, you will see the benefits for like 10 years. So it's good stuff. I know not just the fertilizer is what's good, but the organic material in there. Because when my grandpa first came here, when he was 9, and he took over the farm when he was 12 or 13, I believe. That's when my great grandpa died, and my grandpa took over the farm at 13 years old. He said a lot of the fields that we had around here, they were all sandy. They were like half sand, half dirt. But after they've had cows the whole time they were here, so they've slowly hauled manure, and we've been hauling manure for 70 years. So after that many years of hauling manure, all the fields, none of our fields are sandy anymore. They're all pretty good dirt. And that is because we put so much manure on, that organic material. The manure eventually just turns into dirt. It just degrades and turns into dirt. So we've put so much manure on that has actually changed the composition of the soil to where our soil is not sandy anymore. It's good dirt now. So it's really good stuff. And also, we don't have any rocks. I know we've had some people mention, ask if we had rocks we had to pick out or go pick boulders out. Nope, we don't have any rocks because we used to, but we've been growing potatoes here for so long, the potato harvester actually pulls the rocks out of the ground too. So we've basically harvested all the rocks. My grandpa has told us that they've actually filled in, looks like I'm full. They've filled in a bunch of holes around the farm, and they actually made a few gravel roads out of the rocks that they pulled out of the fields. So a lot of our fields don't have rocks anymore just because we harvested them all. We pulled them all out of the ground, so there aren't any more rocks. But yeah, this manure is amazing stuff, and there is plenty of it due to all these milk makers. All right, well, we are now loaded, so let's go head out to the field and see if we can get this thing unloaded without breaking anything. It is making some weird noises. When I turn the chains on after fixing everything, the beaters are making some noises. I think it's just a chain kind of rubbing on the metal a little bit, but it's hard to say. I can't see where it's rubbing because it's behind a big metal shield. I'd have to take off a whole bunch of bolts just to see it. But I think it's okay. It's just making a little bit of noise. I guess we'll find out. If it comes falling apart, chain comes off, then we'll know that it was a little bigger problem than I thought. Just driving to one field and I can see Christopher over here. He is planting grain. He's over in this field planting some grain. We hauled in this field. This was the first field we hauled in. When I was on spring break, they hauled in it. Looks like he's going along pretty good. I know he's about a third done, maybe. So he's definitely got more to do. But yeah, hopefully we can get it all done in time. Now, because we had so many trucks break down last week when I was on spring break and Josh was gone on spring break, Christopher didn't get to plant as much grain as he was hoping. He was hoping to get a lot more done, work like 13-hour days, but I guess most days he was only able to work about 5 or 6 hours because the trucks kept breaking down so much. So hopefully he can get a bunch of 13-hour days in now that he doesn't have to stop so much and fix stuff. So we can get that grain done maybe in the next week or two.
Well guys, first day manure hauling has not gone great. As you can see here, something's missing. Rick picked it up and basket just fell off, so he's headed out to the field with the loader to pick the basket up and bring it in here so we can fix this. And then we got that truck over there, had a brake can go bad, and ended up having to cut it off. And then I'm gonna blame this one on Taryn because he said we weren't gonna make it till noon, but we did make it till noon before truck broke. Our Western Star over here is not good either. Got a chunk of concrete in there and it did a whole bunch of damage, and we'll show you that. The link that caught and bent, but as you can see it's not too good there. But if we come around to the front, it's well, there's what happened to the sprocket. Busted that, took the bearing out, and then up front here, that's where that should be. As you can see right there, that little thing right here, that should be in that block right there, and it should look like that in this block. Instead it looks like that. So we got some fun stuff to deal with tonight. It's gonna be a late night. Good afternoon guys, sorry I haven't been very good at filming. We've been pretty busy trying with manure here, but you can see I've got a pretty good section here laid out. But you're gonna see right there, you can see that line of manure right there by the edge of that corral. That's how far this was out this morning, and it was as deep as that is right now, which is about 4 feet. So sorry about again not filming when I started, but Taryn's off this week. It's spring break for us, so he's off this week, but as you can see, we've got a sea of manure still left to go. Boy, do we got a mess here now. Look at all that water. I don't even know what we're gonna do with it. But we definitely don't got enough solid to make that haulable.
We are just getting into the field with the first load. Hopefully nothing breaks. We get lined up and turn this baby on. We're almost to the long rows on this field. I gotta shift down into first. Hey, I turned the meters on, nothing broke. At least I don't think anything broke. Put the door up. When it's sloppy like this, you have to put your door up slow or else you dump a whole bunch of manure right at the very end of the field. And it makes it hard for the grain drill to go through and plant it. Because it's hard to plant grain in like 4 inches of manure. What's surprising is it will grow. If you plant grain straight into a thick thing of manure, it still grows. It doesn't grow as good or as big or tall, but it does still grow, surprisingly. Okay, well, it's all working. Looks like my floor chain was a little slow to turn on, but it is working, it is spreading now. Let's see if we can get this truck spread out. Well, if you look out that mirror right there, you can see the poop flying. Barely. It's kind of dusty back there. But it is flying. Maybe you can see out this mirror a little better. It is flying. Also, Rain for Ant is over there at the pivot center. They're fixing the pivot. We couldn't get this pivot to work very well, and then it just stopped, and we didn't know why. Turns out the mice had chewed through the wire somewhere underground, and they said it had multiple breaks, and the wire was very old, so they just trenched in a whole new wire, and they're putting a new panel on this pivot, I think. And hopefully it works really well this year. It worked pretty good last year, just except we had a whole bunch of tires pop, and we had a whole bunch of gearboxes go bad and couplers go bad. So hopefully this year it doesn't have any problems. All right, we are to the end of the field, but I didn't get it unloaded all the way. I think it's because my floor chain was slow to turn on at the very beginning. So I'm gonna do a few circles out here on the end of the field and get it all unloaded, because if I don't get it all the way empty, I end up plopping a bunch of crap on the road driving down the road. So I'm gonna make sure I get it all the way empty so I don't make a mess, and then we'll head back to Trevor for another load. Well, my truck just died. I was on my way back to the dairy to get another load from Trevor, and the check engine light came on. It started to sputter, so I pulled off the road and it died. So I guess I'm gonna check it out and see if I can figure out why it died. But for right now, it is stuck on the side of the road. Okay, well, Josh is towing me back to the farm. I could not figure out what was wrong with this, just sitting on the side of the road. I checked the oil and all the stuff you would check, and nothing. So luckily I do have enough air for my brakes. Hopefully I only have to use them once, because I can use them a couple times and the air will be gone, and then I won't have any brakes. So let's hope I can get back to the farm without any problems. Luckily I was only about a quarter mile down the road from the farm, so not too big a deal. Well, I guess that's gonna have to do. You know, on the farm, we always try to be safe. We always try to use caution, whether we're towing something or welding. Like, I always wear my welding mask and all my helmet and all my stuff. We always try to be protected and as safe as we can. And farming is a very dangerous place. But another dangerous place is the internet. And that brings me to today's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is a virtual private network that goes between you and anywhere you're browsing. So when you go out of town and you go to the hotel and you check in and you log into the Wi-Fi, it goes between you and that Wi-Fi network, so that anything that you put on there doesn't get stolen. Because you might feel awesome that you're now on a Wi-Fi and you're browsing the internet, but what can happen is people can set up spoof Wi-Fi networks where they can track everything that goes between you and the website that you're sending stuff to. And they can steal your data, they can steal your information, they can steal your identity. Now that is called a man-in-the-middle attack. But something else that NordVPN protects you from is fake websites. There are a lot of fake websites out there that want to scam you. NordVPN stops millions of scams every single month from fake websites trying to sell you stuff that isn't real, and they're just trying to take your money. By signing up to NordVPN, you can choose from 5,000 servers in 60 different countries. And by doing that, you can tell any website that you are from whatever country you want to be from. So if you want to watch the shows you want to watch that are restricted in your country, you can switch to a different country and still watch those shows. If you want to get really good deals on hotels, cars, flights, you can switch to a different country that might have better deals, and you can get those better deals because NordVPN says that you're in a different country. Now, NordVPN is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as anybody who signs up for their 2-year plan will get 4 free months of NordVPN. So if you want to check them out, go down to the link below and sign up to NordVPN to have a more secure internet browsing experience. All right, well, I got my truck up and running again. Turns out while I was in a rush to get it going this morning with fixing it and getting everything working again, I failed to fill it up with fuel. So yeah, it just ran out of gas. I thought something major was wrong. Luckily, we just had to fill it up with fuel and it fired right up. So maybe I'll pay attention to the fuel gauge tomorrow. All right, well, the area that they were in got a little too sloppy. So I believe they are over there. The dairy's over there with their loader, and they're moving more manure into it that's solid, trying to get it solid. So we moved back here, so we're back behind all the corrals. And it's a little sloppy in some spots. There's definitely some ponds, but there are some solid piles that are piled up. So we're kind of working around all these little ponds to try and get what solid we can. So Trevor is right here, and he's working in this little area. We've about got all of what's back here. There's not a lot left back here that we can get. There are some piles and stuff, but if we move them, then all the water rushes in. So we are trying to get what we can from back here, and hopefully by the time we get this all cleaned up back here, they've got the other area over there all solidified a little bit so we can haul that too, because we really need to finish this field we're on. Watch Trevor load me up a bit. We had to also switch loaders, so we switched to this loader because it has a lot better tires on it. Looks like he's definitely got a lot of solid to work with back here. It only takes about 4 scoops to fill up the truck. So I'm going to finish getting loaded here, and then I'm going to head out to the field, and we're just going to keep hauling manure all day long, and tomorrow, and then hopefully that's the last time. Well, we've just been going along, and all of a sudden it starts to snow. Winter isn't over yet. It's not wet enough that we have to stop. We're not making a mess or anything, but it is starting to snow. And way over there, you can't even see it. Maybe you can see it if I turn my, no, maybe not. The dairy, you can kind of see it right there. They've got their slurry tank, and they're spraying the lagoon water out onto the field. So they're trying to keep the lagoon water down as much as they can, spreading it onto this hay field. But hopefully it doesn't snow enough to stop us, so we need to keep going. Well, we're getting there, but it looks like we are just about out of solid here. He's kind of worked his way this way, and there's some solid over there, but I don't know if that's holding back anything, or maybe it's too sloppy up in there, but looks like we're just about out. We do have this pile right here, but we'll get loaded up what we can. It looks like there's probably enough solid here to last the rest of today, and hopefully it does look like I can see the loader over there. They are still moving solid over into the slop and mixing it in, so hopefully there's enough over there that we can work at that tomorrow. So, but here's a pretty good view of him loading one of the trucks. It's hard to get a good view of it while I'm driving the truck, but I am going to take some drone footage. Looks like it's just about full. One more scoop and then it'll be my turn. Yeah, I can see right there, there's a pond right there that he's kind of working into. I don't know when that's going to break loose, but looks like there's quite a bit of water in there. And he's full. Alright, I'm going to get back in there and get loaded myself. Well, looks like it just erupted. You see all the water flowing into where we were just at. So, looks like I'm going to follow Trevor and see if he knows a better spot to go. But, yep, that area's flooded. Hopefully we can get some from up here. Well, there's a little bit up here. Should be enough to last us the rest of the day, possibly. Not much here though. Unless he can work his way down over there by the corrals. Might be some more over that way. Alright, I'm unloading my last load of the day. Just finishing out this load. We did make it halfway through the field, so we should be able to finish this field tomorrow if there's enough manure. We are running a little low on manure that's actually haulable. So we'll see, I guess. But I just want to say thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode. If you want to join the RMF Club, make sure to comment RMF Club and hit the like button. If you fill out the form, it'll make it a lot easier to send you stickers if we pick your comment. But anyway, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.